Hey guys, here is the letter that I wrote, 4-page letter to an elder in France. The reason I sent him this letter is all started because of my brother's shunning, and I contacted this elder to see if I could find out where my brother lives now, because I went to the last address that I knew about, of him living at, and he's not there anymore. Never told me he moved, never told me my mother died 2 years ago. Was so disgusted. Wrote a letter to this elder letting him know, because I knew that he didn't know what my brother did, to what point my brother had shunned me. And sure enough, no, this brother didn't know. Actually was very sad, did not understand, my brother's behavior, even though he's an elder. So anyway, he sent me a letter. This brother sent me a letter asking me to please come back to Jehovah. In the meanwhile, I had made my research. I was so disgusted and so sad also, about my brother's behavior. Wanted to know if other people had lived or were living the same experience I'm living now. And I sure did find many. Also, found out many things that I'm going to, you'll find out, I'll mention them in the letter. And in response to his request of me coming back to the truth, I made sure I sent him a letter to open his eyes. I don't know what he's going to do, what he did, what he thought when he received the letter, but I know that it had to make him think and maybe do his own research. So listen in, here's the translation of the main points of this 4-page letter in English. Hope you like it. If you do, like the video and share it with as many people as you can. Bye-bye. Dear brother, first, I would like to thank you for your kindness and for having done something my own brother will probably never do. I left Jehovah's Witnesses organization in October 2006. And while I've never felt any desire to come back, up until recently, I still thought that it might be the true religion. However, this has totally changed now. I guess you could say that thanks to my brother's shunning, I've started browsing the internet for answers about the Watchtower and Bible Tract Society. And that was a turning point for me. I don't know how much information you have access to in French, but in the English language, the information is huge. So, after years of having left the Organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, I started looking for answers. And as the Bible says, when you seek, you find. First of all, I want to let you know that the Organization of Jehovah's Witnesses have been members of the United Nations from 1992 to 2001. And apparently, they also have had other relationships with Babylon the Great. Of course, these relationships are never mentioned, at least not in recent publications. But there's even worse, such as the cases of pedophilia and other sexual abuse. 1,006 cases altogether in Australia, cases that were never reported to police. The first thing I found was that Australian Royal Court trial, where Brother Gregory Jackson from the governing body was questioned and who gave very doubtful answers. For example, when the lawyer asked the question, isn't it true that if a member of Jehovah's Witnesses organization decides to stop his activity with the organization, and someone from the organization were to visit them and would find them celebrating a birthday or Christmas, this person would be disfellowshipped from Jehovah's organization? Brother Jackson answered, no, that's not the understanding that I have, but I'm not a specialist in this type of case. To this, the lawyer answered back, so, you're telling me that you, a member of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, do not know if this is the case or not? I won't even go further with this, but the lack of truthfulness of Brother Jackson was very painful to watch. So, all in all, the Watchtower was fined millions of dollars to be paid to the victims of sexual abuse. Money which comes from the publishers, which give their money for the expansion of the good news. This case made a lot of noise in the English-speaking Jehovah's Witnesses communities and countries. However, the scary things I've found about this religion don't even stop there. There is plenty more. I've also discovered some recordings of judicial committee hearings that are very revealing. Believe it or not, some courageous brothers have gone to their committee hearing armed with a hidden camera and very well prepared, and thus have exposed the ignorance or the lack of wanting to know the truth about the truth of the elders and those who are directing them. The time when the governing body would hide many things to the average publisher is over. Today, thanks to modern technology, there's basically no secret that can be kept. What's interesting is that proof of lies don't come only from external sources, but internal sources as well, the very publications of the Watchtower. I've also heard of Bethelites and elders' interviews. Those people are still in the organization, but they have discovered TTATT, the truth about the truth, and they are wanting to leave that organization. I am so sorry that I have to tell you all of that, but since I found this disturbing information, I have had a hard time to sleep at night. And even though I've left the organization of JWs 10 years ago, I still find this information very disturbing, and I wanted you to know about it. I also know that I'm not alone, and that many other ex-JWs are being shunned by their family members, by their close family members. After all of this, I concluded that it can be God's organization, and I could never come back. But just like I felt that I had to preach the good news in the past, I feel that now I have to share what I know about the truth about the truth. This organization of Jehovah's Witnesses has ruined my family and the relationship that I had with them. Because of them, my mother was cremated, which I know she would have never wanted. And of course, took her daughter that loved her so much away from her before and after death. This mother whom has told me so many times as I was growing up that she would renounce God for her children any time of the day. Even though she wasn't a witness back then when she used to say that, I know that this feeling of hers has never changed. Anyway, what God of love would make a mother to choose between him and her children? For 10 years, I have never mentioned to anyone I met that I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. But the recent events that have motivated me to look for answers have also motivated me to tell people, tell everyone, that I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'll tell them my story. That would have probably never happened if my brother had never shunned me. But because of it, I really, really wanted to know why, and I found why. I know you've asked me to come back to the truth, but frankly, I would never come back to this religion more than I would come back to the Catholic Church. I'll end this letter with 1 John 4:1. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. These words apply also to the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses.